I poured myself into my work at the restaurant. I started as a cleaner and then moved to a waitress, and I worked hard. The owner of the restaurant, let's call him George, noticed. He was a good man, a few years older than me. He saw how hard I worked. He respected me. He started asking for my opinion on things. He would make sure I had eaten after a long shift. He was kind and steady. For the first time in my life, a man saw me. Slowly, we fell in love. It was a quiet, gentle love built on respect. It was my first taste of real happiness. A few months later, he proposed. It wasn't a big dramatic thing. It was after we had closed the restaurant, sitting at a table, while he counted the day's earnings. He looked at me, reached across the table, and took my hand. You are the strongest, most beautiful woman I know. Let's get married. Let me take care of you for once. Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in my life, I felt truly chosen. I felt loved, not for what I could do for someone, but for who I was. I said yes, and for a while, my world was filled with a light I never knew existed. We started making wedding plans. It was going to be a simple ceremony, but to me, it was a fairy tale. I was so happy. I met Sandra, my maid of honor. She was, after all, my only sister, my only family. When I asked her, she gave me a tight, quick hug and said, "Of course, sister." I thought it was a new beginning. I thought my happiness was finally bringing us together. One afternoon, I finished my market errands earlier than expected. I decided to stop by George's house to surprise him with some fresh bread I had bought. He lived in a nice self-contained apartment not too far from the restaurant. When I got there, I was surprised to hear voices inside, a man's and a woman's laughing. I knocked, and George opened the door. A smile seemed to freeze for a second when he saw me. I wasn't expecting you," he said, stepping aside. And that is when I saw her. Sandra was sitting on the sofa, holding a glass of soft drink. She looked comfortable. My heart did a little jump, but Sandra just laughed. "Sister, don't look so surprised. I was just passing by this side of town and decided to check on my future brother-in-law." She stood up and gave me a playful hug. "I wanted to make sure he's treating you right." George chuckled nervously. "Yes, just a friendly visit." I looked from one to the other. A small worried voice in my head whispered that it was strange. Sandra never passed by this part of town. But I was so wrapped up in my happiness, so desperate for my family to be a part of it, that I silenced that voice. I smiled a big genuine smile. "That is so sweet of you, Sandra. I am happy you two are bonding." It made sense, didn't it? He would soon be my husband, and she was my sister. Of course they should get along. We talked for a few more minutes, and then Sandra left, waving goodbye. I stayed with George, feeling content. I thought my life was finally falling into place. I didn't know I was blind. I didn't know that while I was planning my wedding, dreaming of my future, a much more ugly and painful story was being written behind my back. The betrayal was already happening, and I was the only one who couldn't see it. Hey, The full video is up on my YouTube channel. Click the link in my bio to watch. And if you cannot find the video, use this thumbnail.